Here we have dark star Ceanothus, which is one of the hybrids of California lilac. It has yellow leaves, so I want to say it's allergic to the soil it's in. Somehow it I'm gonna get rid of that soil. It's okay to lose a few roots here and there. You don't want any bark on your soil. If you put this thing in clay, it's gonna rot on you. See the bark? I'm gonna change that soil. I'm gonna put it in good soil. They put some sort of a granular fertilizer in there. You don't want it in there either. Native plants don't like fertilizer, especially chemicals. In there in your native soil. You don't want any bark. If you have clay, that bark is gonna rot on you. and it's gonna rot your plant, and your plant maybe has 1 or 2 years to live. And then you go and buy again, and that's what they want. They want you to keep buying your plants. The whole industry is built on it. The best soil you can get is sand. Sand and sandy loam. Sandy loam is normally by the rivers. The best soil you can grow in. But this plant right here is a native to sandy clay. Definitely not bark. It doesn't grow in bark. And I'm not sure what's with this root here. See? Like this is not belong here. It's like a root from another plant or something. Okay, so enough teasing it. It's gonna lose quite a few leaves because we lost a lot of feeder roots. Feeder roots are these white, hairy roots. We lost a lot of them. And I'll update you on the plant if you guys are interested. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel. Make sure there are no dead roots. Okay. So there are a little bit of pieces of bark there. Don't worry about those. It's the big pieces that you need to worry about. Dark star Ceanothus is a tricky plant. It does not want to be watered in the summer at all. It's a native plant. It wants to go with the season. Here's what you do. Take a clean pot, put it in, and I choose a small pot again because I want it to recover from everything that I've just done to it. And it will recover. It's a hardy plant. The soil mix that I'm using is Gary's Top Pot. Gary has his own channel. Shout out to Gary. His channel is called Gary's Best Gardening. The best soil you can find for your potted plants, and especially your native plants. Native plants, again, they don't tolerate any compost in the soil. No bark, no compost. And you want to water this immediately. Okay. The next plant I got here is, it's called Ashy-Leaf Buckwheat. Ashy-Leaf Buckwheat. Native to the slopes. Beautiful plant. Let's see what's inside. Well, there's some roots going on there. Okay. Okay. Let's see if this part is not. This should be fine. Tight root ball, not bad. Again, we don't want any bark whatsoever. Not any bark whatsoever. Don't worry if it's gonna lose a couple of roots. It will compensate by dropping a couple of leaves, maybe all of them. But it will survive. It will survive. You don't want any bark. So if you're questioning while you're doing this, don't question yourself. You don't want any bark in your soil. No bark. Especially, look, this is shredded bark. This is horrible. 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 So, they did mix it with sand. Okay, this is gonna lose a couple of roots, but that's okay. That's okay. I will then trim it pretty severely. But I'm not planting this in my clay with that amount of bark. Not, see, too much bark. Too much bark. Okay, this one lost quite a bit of roots, and I'll update you. On how it recovers, but this one lost a lot of roots just now. But it should survive, and I'll update you on that. See, like in the original mix, they did not use much bark, which is good. I think they might have used some moss and some perlite and some sand, because essentially, initially, they were growing it in a small pot. Okay, and then they replanted it. The only reason it did good is because most of the roots, the plant was trying to find some air, and most of the roots are concentrated at the ground level. See all the healthy roots? Okay. So because I trimmed so many roots for this plant. It lost the roots right there. Okay. I will trim it. I will trim it. All of this branches I'm gonna trim. I'll show you at the end of the video. I'm gonna do it. Okay. This is good enough. Now, holding it because I want the roots spread out in the pot rather than just placing it on top of the fill. And so I'm holding the plant. This plant looks like it's gonna survive this transplant. Buckwheat family is a hardy plant. Don't be afraid to do what I just did. Don't be afraid to save a plant. It's gonna have a hard time standing because of a large crown, but okay, next one is I have is a desert plant, desert lavender, Condea emoryi. This is not the pot, the soil it wants to be at all. It wants to live in sand. It lives in the washes of the desert. And look how it's looking for air. This is gonna be hard, but the reason it circles here is like, where's my air? Where's my air? Where's my sand? Because it can't breathe here. Can't breathe. So let's try and see what we can do here, but I'm scared. This one is not as hardy as a buckwheat. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. It's gonna lose quite a bit of roots. True, but it is what it is. I'll save it. I'll try and save as many roots as I can. Okay. And they tried adding the sand. I see that see how there's no roots in the middle part? They all concentrated on the bottom looking for air. And there's no air in the bottom. There's nothing in the bottom. Yeah, see the pieces of bark? You don't want that in your clay. You don't want it in you don't want it in any soil. It belongs on the top in the forest floor. Okay. Yeah, I have potential of saving this plant. It may not make it, but we'll try. It may not make it, but we'll try. Oh, this bark, this is already rotting. You see? This is rotting. But there's healthy roots. These are healthy, I'm surprised. But these are nice thick sized roots. Let's see. Not much bark again. They didn't use much bark in the initial planting. They used a lot of perlite, but not much bark. This is a rare and beautiful plant in the desert. See, like at the bottom they used mostly perlite. It's a good thing. It's a good thing because they know that this plant needs a lot of air, not bark. But they'll sell it to you in bark because it's lighter. The pot is lighter. Bark is okay. We have some nice roots there. I want to get a nice spot for it. Let's go. Let's fill it up. Plant needs full sun. Sun and location. Some rocks at the base. This is gonna be in the pot for another maybe a month. I'd give it a month. So let's water it. Go. I will water it much more after the video. I'm just showing you the process. You want to give it a good watering. Good watering. Comes out the bottom. I just have some soil here. I don't want it to come out of the bottom, and I'm gonna get rid of this soil. This is not good soil. This one is gonna take over your slope. Excellent for erosion control. All of these plants are great for erosion control. Maybe not the lavender, but the buckwheats, the Ceanothus, excellent for erosion control. This is a sage. This is a Figueroa, a purple sage, Salvia leucophylla. Sorry, my English, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but it needs sand. It doesn't need bark, and the nursery does know that, but they still plant it in bark. Okay, let's see. Not only didn't they plant it in sand, they planted in some sawdust. Well, you don't want the sage in the sawdust. You don't want the sage anywhere near bark. You don't want anything wood near your sages. Your sages don't need any wood. Loosen up the soil, poke it everywhere. Poke it, poke it, poke it, poke it. Look how much shredded wood they have in there. This is ridiculous. You don't want that shredded wood with your sages. Anywhere near your sages. Again, don't be afraid. I bought this plant on sale, but it's not my first time doing this. Most of the time I just propagate native plants from cuttings that I take myself, but I needed a couple of more mature plants for erosion control. But this plant is not doing well. Judging by the roots, it's not. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. Bark, bark, bark. Damn, look at that. A rotted bark. Rotted bark. If you put this in your clay, it's gonna kill your plant within a few months. Just a few months. And your $20 or $15 or $30 were wasted. Now this plant will survive this, but it will lose a lot of leaves, and again I'm gonna trim it pretty severely. I'm gonna probably cut off all of these. I'm gonna cut it all off. I'll show you in a bit. If you made it this far, leave a comment saying I made it this far. Shake it. These are all the roots. That's why it's great for erosion control. Beautiful purple flowers. If you like natural colors. Natural shade of lavender. That's what this plant is. Provides you with a nice shade of lavender. Always smell it. It smells nice. Smells like fresh sage. California chaparral plant. I know this looks cruel. Trust me, he will make it. You don't want any bark there. Again, you don't want any bark there. The more you can get out, and see they use some sort of a fertilizer. Guys, don't use fertilizer in your sages, please. All right, let's do this. There we go. Okay, here we go. This is megacarpus Ceanothus. Nice shrub. Let's see, we have some growth here. I'm not sure what that is. Let's look at the roots. And by the way, I'm not using the same pots. I'm using the different pots. But anyhow, let's see what's going on here. Not that bad. Not that bad. So you don't want, you also don't want these are not native to California. Not native to California. Worms. I forgot the word. Worms. So I'm starting from the bottom here because actually this is very heavy. I don't want it to lose the roots because this plant depends on the root system more than others. It may not survive heavy tampering with the roots, so I'm trying my best to be gentle. I don't see many roots to begin with. How much bark they used. Too much bark. Too much bark. Look. Too much bark for this Ceanothus lilac. Had you put it in your clay? I mean, not lilac. What is it? Well, it's lilac family. Excuse me. But you don't want to put this in clay. You want it in sandy soil, sandy loam, or sandy clay. Add some sand to your clay. Add some humus to your clay. And no, sand added to clay won't make concrete. Won't. The worst thing you can do is add compost to clay. Your plants will last, but maybe only for a couple of years. Okay, this one is losing a lot of roots. But we gotta do this because they used a lot of bark in it. They also buried the trunk a little bit. They don't want to do that either. I'm surprised it survived. This nursery had been in business for a while. They're in business of growing native plants. And I enjoyed their staff and their sales were good prices. But they still use incorrect soil. Because once you sell it, you sell it. You don't have to deal with you don't, it's a sale, so you won't return it because it's gonna be dead by then. So, okay, so this one losing a lot of roots, and it's not a good thing. But again, I'm gonna trim it. I may not even go much further than a root ball here. This is the root ball, and it's a little dense. They used the bark. They did use the bark. And I went all in with the bark here. Okay, this one lost a lot of roots, but I will update you. I'll update you on recovery on this plant. Don't worry. Don't worry, we'll make it. I swear. We'll make it. If the remainder of the bark don't rot the crown. I mean, let's see, they actually planted the whole thing in bark. Okay. And some sand, marginal amount of sand, mostly bark. They use the fertilizer, that's why it's sort of vigorous in the first stage of its life, but it's a setback. What I'm doing now is a setback for the plant. That's what it is. Okay, let's go. One more plant to show you is this Carpenteria californica bush anemone, tree anemone. Now I see when I saw this plant it has already some root damage. You see the edges of the brownish leaves. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow the process. I'm assuming get a lot of bark. A lot of bark. Let's see it. See the bark. Shavings. Okay, but this one has a lot of sand, but a lot of bark. They used more sand on this one than the previous plant. This one has fine roots, so I'm being really careful. We can't lose a lot of those. Can't afford losing all of these roots. But again, I will trim it. I will trim this plant severely, and I'll show you in another video how I trim it. After planting, that is. They're going to be severely trimmed. This is gonna rot in your soil if you leave it there. It's a beautiful plant and it's not grown enough in the gardens. It has big white flowers, pleasantly scented, makes a good hedge in a non-windy location. Okay. I'm really trying to get in there because I don't need any bark at the base. You don't want any bark at the base. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to loosen it up there. This plant is already showing the signs of root damage. So, and I can't have bark there. Can't have bark. There we go. It's loose enough. There we go. Let's see, its bark sticks to the roots. Probably try and regrow this from cuttings right there. They might make it. Okay. Lost a lot of roots. See? Not good, but it is what it is. Plant it. In good soil. There we go. I purposely not planting it in big pots because the place where I'm gonna plant it has gophers, and they're gonna go in gopher baskets. And if you ever dealt with gopher baskets, you should know that. You probably know that. Okay, this did not end up in the middle. This did not end up in the middle of the pot. You know what? I am going to put it in a bigger pot because this plant needs a bigger pot. Again, it's going to be severely trimmed to compensate for all the root loss. If you really don't want to repurpose the soil, you can put it on top, the old soil. Or put it in your compost pile. All right. So I'm gonna make another video for how I trim it and other plants that I had just planted. After so much root damage, we have to make sure we trim the foliage. Please join me in another video. Have a nice day, guys, and thank you for liking and subscribing.